just wanted to share that with you. Thank you to everybody out there. Okay, our next guest is a gentleman who's going to talk about the open mic. Actually, his name is Mike. Just spelled differently. Mike Mullins. And Mike had an interesting thing that happened with me last night. We'll get into it before he's off the air, and I'll try to keep my composure when we do this. You'll understand that, listeners. But Mike, welcome to TalkingWithHeroes.com. And obviously you're a lot taller than me, so I'm looking up to you. You like that? Share with our listeners a little bit about yourself, your background, talk about your son, and then what led you to be involved with the organization.
My name is Mike Mullins, as you mentioned. I'm Vice President of MWSA. I think that's because they were desperate. I'm a minnow swimming with dolphins. I'm one of the small-time riders. There are some very wonderful people in this group. And I was actually led here by Maria Edwards. And I was out surfing the net looking for a home after I wrote my book of poetry. One of those things that just happened. I've written always, and mine always ended up in the trash. I wrote for myself, nobody else. As Bill mentioned, you know, it was one of those things that was therapeutic. I'm a Vietnam veteran, old grunt, and some people happened to see my work laying around, and they said, Mike, you should be sharing this, so here I am. And I've always been involved in Veterans Affairs at the local level, and this book took me places I never expected to go. It's more about working with veterans for me, and it's opened doors, led me to meet people like this. It's become a vehicle for hearing stories and telling stories more than anything else, and getting the chance to reach out, which has also kind of led me to the open mic thing. I developed some health issues this last year, and one night I was in my garage suffering from one of my new maladies, cluster headaches, and Joyce and I were talking on the phone, and I said, you know, it'd be fun to have at the conference just to tell some stories, just to share some of what we do. And we talked about open mic, and it'd be great if some of our folks just got the chance to give life to their words. I said, you know, we all write, and we're historians. You know, that's what they've all touched on, that theme. We're historians. We're telling the real history, the down in the dirt, the kind of thing that textbooks don't share, you know. They're impersonal. This is personal. This is the real thing. So just think about that, you know, that chance for people to put their emotions out there, for you know, the real feel behind their words. And because I've done a few poetry readings and things, and I found out I really love doing it. I really love performing my work. She said, well, you know, we got to brainstorm a little bit. But, you know, it'd be a great part of the conference to give some of our folks a chance to share that. So the more we talked, it just kind of evolved into something, and we decided to put it on the agenda. And I'm really excited about it. I'm excited to hear some of our folks share their work tonight and have a few minutes to get up and read and make us laugh, maybe make us cry. You know, it's an opportunity to turn this into a living document, you know, and so that is, I'm just going to kind of stand back tonight and listen to our folks. We got some tremendous people in this group, and I learned from them. I know so very little about this craft, and I'm not a technical writer. I'm an English major. You know, I got a degree in it many years ago, but you know, where I ended up coming is kind of become a home for me. And these people have taught me about a craft. It's not just a degree anymore. It's become an art.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for your service. I know when you came back, you may not have been thanked. I interview a lot of Vietnam veterans. I appreciate what you're doing. A lot of Vietnam veterans around the country are leading the way in supporting our troops to make sure what happened to a lot of you all doesn't happen again. But you also have a son who's serving.
He's been in 17 years, been in Afghanistan twice, and Iraq once.
And you came up to me last night and said, were you in Fort Wayne a few years ago? Tell me.
Yeah, you were in Fort Wayne a few years ago after my son came back from his second tour and happened to interview him up there.
I was with the Indiana National Guard, and just real quick, I have a cat, 21 years old, named Rainbow, and many people listening on the internet have met him as he's traveled with me over the 4 years. A lot of messages on Facebook about him. 2 days ago, he passed away at 21 years old, and it's hard. But at that event, it was too hot to leave him in the van, and so we brought him in the TV studio in his little kennel cab. So you picture this with the cameras, the lights, soldiers in uniform, we're sitting in these high chairs. It's a TV studio, right? He's in his little kennel cab. About 15 minutes into the program, he decided it was his time to talk. And people heard it, and they just, was that your cat? Yep, that was Rainbow. So it's a tribute to Rainbow. So, okay, what would you like to say to the troops who are listening right now?
Hoo-ah, number one. And number two, there's a bunch of vets here waiting for you. Don't wander off. Find us, we'll help you.